Yeah, there's always points where you think you can't do it.
Hurtwood 50K would be my second ultramarathon. You start and end at Dorking Sports Centre and the course is around 1400 metres of elevation with a 10-hour cut-off. Normally on race mornings I feel quite nervous, and for the Hurtwood 50K I found myself asking,
why do I do these things?
But I knew I'd be alright once I got going. This year Hurtwood 50K gave people the option to start earlier than the mass start at 9:30 AM, so runners could make most of the daylight. As I was a bit unfamiliar with the course, I decided to go with the mass start. As someone who is fairly new to ultra running, I wanted in this video to reflect on some of the best and worst things about taking on this distance. The first thing that comes to mind with thinking about the best parts of ultra running is getting peace and headspace. As much as it looks busy here, you soon find everyone spreads out, finding their own rhythm. There are plenty of people to chat with along the way if you like, but also you can easily find your own space. On the scale of talkative to non-talkative runners, I am more towards the non-talkative end of the scale, but enjoy being part of the running community, just in a more introverted way. Relating to this idea of space, the second thing I enjoy about ultra running is being out in nature. With the Hurtwood 50K, we had lots of woodland trails which I found protected you from the elements, as it was turning out to be quite a rainy day. Also, I saw some sheep and horses on the route, which was a perk and nice to get some support from the animals. Now on to a couple of things I don't like about ultra running, the first being sickness. It is something I've struggled with in my previous races, and I find it tricky managing fueling as it can make me feel sick. For Hurtwood 50K, I found I was able to eat some small solid food at aid stations, like bananas and crisps, without my stomach feeling too bad, but this is something I am continuously working on in my training. The second thing I don't like is that I tend to fear being on my period for ultramarathons, as sometimes there are no toilets at checkpoints, though there are some races that are better for this than others. For Hurtwood 50K, there was always a portaloo at every checkpoint, which was encouraging to see. Although this is something that ultra running has not always been great with in the past, it's good to know that organisations like She Races are pushing for greater inclusivity for women. Now this has been my second ultramarathon event and third time running a 50k distance. I have come to understand more how my body reacts. At the start of events, it takes time for my body to adjust to the demand of running, and I tend to dip in the middle.
I think I had a low point about just before 15 miles or just around there, but yeah. Yeah, there's always points where you think you can't do it.
For the Hurtwood 50k, it was a similar pattern, but I have found my body has gotten stronger, so after the last climb at Leaf Hill with only 7 miles to go, I found I was able to run the last section strong, which took me by surprise. Although I was running strong at this point of the race, I was also feeling a bit disappointed that I knew I was not going to finish within a time goal of under 7 hours that I had set before the day. But I'm learning with every event things can change from the goal you have in mind due to unpredictable elements such as terrain and weather. For the Hurtwood 50K, the rain meant that there was very muddy sections, so you had to slow down if you didn't want to end up in a mud bath. Also, I spent a bit too much time at aid stations sorting out kit, which is something I'm going to work on. Nevertheless, I was proud to finish in one piece, to have pushed through the mud and the rain. A big thank you to Freedom Racing and all the volunteers who put on an amazing event, and was great to see a lot of friendly faces and people who watched the channel on the day. After this, my latest 50k experience, it has left me wanting more adventures with fellow runners, more nature, more time with animals, and ultimately to see what challenge I can take on next.